Give me a number. Just give me a number.
Okay, do 15.
15?
15.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Hey YouTube. There are a number of skills in card magic that have an intuitive quality to them, and it makes them very difficult to learn and even more difficult to teach because there is no clear universal road to intuition. A few examples of this might be classic forcing a card, riffle stacking the deck, dead cutting a certain amount of cards at will. Each of these skills has an intuitive quality that's very, very difficult to trace. We know they can be mastered. We know people who have mastered them, but if we ask those same people how they got there, usually the only thing that they can tell us is that they just practiced. Two of the reasons that intuition is so difficult to learn is because we don't get immediate positive feedback between practice and proficiency. And we don't have a traceable timeline. We don't know how long it will take until we get better. And one of the main reasons it's difficult to teach intuition is because so often when people have mastered a skill, they don't necessarily document or remember the exact road that they followed to get to that point. And even if they do, the process might be different for someone else. If we use the analogy of a road, it would be like asking a number of well-traveled people whether this road will get you there, and all of them nod their heads, but none of them can tell you how long it will be for you. And this is where practice comes in. The things that we practice are an amalgam of the feedback of all of the masters that came before us. It's all of the common factors of that intuition that we've seen in the people who have the skills that we so desperately want. And though we might not ever be able to say how long any one person will take to pick up the intuitive part of those skills, we do know a couple of things for certain. Number one, the people who practice consistently will always be better than the people who don't practice at all. And number two, the people who practice with a plan that they can rely on will always do better and move faster than the people who only practice haphazardly. So this is why I want you to hear from my friend Jason. Jason Ladanye is one of the all-time best practicers that I know of. And as a result, he's mastered a number of the most impressive skills that I can think of between a person and a deck of cards. The interview itself was only supposed to last for a little while, but we ended up talking for over an hour on mentoring, on story, on character development. I had to trim most of that down for this video to keep it focused on the subject of practice, but I will be hosting the full talk and I'll provide the link in the description below if you're interested in watching the full thing. For now, allow me to introduce Jason Ladanye. All right, well, if you're up for sort of showcasing what it is that we've been talking
We're showing off? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. If you'd be.
Yeah, let me just get my Mickey Mouse magic book out of the way so we can do some
there we go. I knew you were.
We all start somewhere.
That's right.
All right, what would you like to see?
So one of the things that you're sort of known for is being able to do like the sequential going stack 1, stack 2, stack 3, all the way up. I honestly don't know what your top number is. The last time we spent, it just kind of kept going.
Well, the bigger basketball theory is something that I enjoy working with a lot. If you feel comfortable with 9 and 10, when you're on stage and someone asks for 6 or 7, it's not a big deal because you've working at the bigger numbers. So Tiger Woods, for example, when they're on the putting green, the hole is this big. So they practice there. And that way, when you go out on the course, the hole's like 3 times as big, and it feels like it's much easier to hit. Basketball players use a medicine ball, so that when they get the real thing, it feels lighter. Baseball, you swing 5 bats, so when you get the real one, it's a lot simpler. So I've brought that formula and thinking into riffle stacking, second deals, bottom dealing with 65 cards. You can barely hold the deck.
Yeah,
so
right.
Then when you go back to a regular deck of 52, it feels like, well, this is easy. So that's not mine. That's been around forever. But I try to find some of that thinking.
How about we do this? If you'd be willing to, just show us what it looks like in sequential order, and then if you're up for me just yelling out a couple random numbers.
Well, the sequential exercise starts out just as simple as what you may suspect it is. I just keep adding one more card each time. So a lot of these drills, I had to invent myself. I've invented them myself, and then over time I see some other YouTube channels or Instagram channels that where people do similar drills. So these are easy to figure out on your own. But basically with riffle stacking, you just have to kind of think about, what am I struggling with, and what kind of exercise can I practice to solve that problem. So one of the first ones that I came up with was just to do sequential, just by adding a single card on top, right? So that's not hard. Now I'm just going to add 2 cards on top and just keep going sequentially like this. And eventually you're going to find your spot. There's 3, there's 4. You're going to find your spot when you can't do it. See if we can do 4 by feel. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you just keep going until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, that wasn't looking. I don't want to show up.
Let's just bring that up right now. He was staring at my
something so amazing that I have to bring it up myself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can see that as I'm going up. Let's see if we can get an 8. Oh, that's not 8. Hey, there we go. This might be 9. Oof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what I'm doing there is I'm building up from 1 all the way up to 8. That's my usual practice.
Okay.
And I'm also starting to develop a feel. Now you notice when I went for 8, I knew I missed it right away. And that was something that was a big thing for me, because when I first learned this, I was just kind of in the dark going like, what? I don't even know where do I even start with this? Yeah. And I literally just guessing. But the first thing I started to notice was when I knew I wasn't right, that was the first thing. I'm starting to develop a feel for it. So I might not be able to get the right answer right away, but I'm starting to sense, oh, that was too much or not enough. And then the next part of that was saying, oh, that's right. So let's see if we can get 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So I was able to take 9 just from a moment ago and say, the moment I hit it, I knew right away it was a little too heavy. Roll the tape back. I said it was 9. But then this time, when I said, let's see if I can hit 8, I was able to take what I felt from 9 and bring it back.
That as a basis of...
Yeah, right? So that was the first drill that I did, just these consecutive things from 1 to 8. But I realized there was a big problem with that, because that's not the way it works in the real world. If you're sitting in a real game, you have to come up with these numbers on the spot. So the riffle stacking drills can't just be sequential. You have to do the thing where you mix the numbers up. And that way you're getting these fresh numbers for the first time. And then you can trust, once you get that drill down, trust your instincts, and it'll just work. It'll just work.
Okay. All right. So are you up for me yelling out a couple randos and seeing?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Let's do 4.
That's an easy one. 2, 3, 4.
Okay. 7.
Ooh, 7. Making me work for it.
That's right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
3.
Oh, watch me screw that 3 up. I'll do it without looking. 1, 2, 3. So it's not, and it should feel effortless. It should feel like am I over here going like, no, it's just effortless, because you're looking at 10 years of doing the thing that you just asked me to do.
And so you don't, that's the other thing, is you don't wobble and you don't pause.
No.
I don't see this with your...
No. This is something you just do. That whole thing where you gauge it, that's not riffle stacking. That's you in real time adjusting what it is that you're doing. Real riffle stacking means you pull the trigger and it's done. You just let the cards fall, and you have to have it happen on the first shot. There's no adjustment phase, is what I'm saying. You just when you first start out, you have to do the adjustment to build the feel, but you have to know this is a phase that you will leave and just get better at it. Your subconscious plays a huge role in this stuff. Okay. And what'll happen is you have to self-analyze and reflect on problems. My stage character is just nothing but ego. But the real me, I assess things and I'm honest with myself. And that looks like shit. So I have to look at those problems, assess them, and think, how do I solve these things? And sometimes it never even makes it into your conscious. You're just aware of, there's a self-awareness, and you are able to solve certain things without really thinking about it. But you have to do this stuff every day to get to the stuff.
That's why I was just going to
drink, breathe, sleep, cards, and this stuff will solve itself.
Dude, thank you so much for being on here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And there you go. There's a tiny piece of what Jason Ladanye had to offer, and a very small piece of a very big interview that went over a lot of cool subjects. If you guys want to check out the full interview, like I said, just use the link in the description below. And while you're down there, I also put links to all of Jason's work, as well as an easy way to get a hold of him in case you're ever interested in taking lessons from him. I've done it, and he's very good at distilling difficult subjects into small and practical packets. Anyway, until next time, I'll see you guys soon.
I keep a running journal of all my flaws, and it's
pretty empty.
yeah, there's still nothing in it.